everyone. Thank you for being with us. You are watching PA Harness Week, racing's fastest paced half hour, a show completely dedicated to the sport of harness racing here in the beautiful Keystone State. I am your host, Britt Purdy, joined by Heather Vitale.
Britt, this is a new season, and I've got a new host with me. There's no new racing, but still it's a really powerful show.
And it's going to be another great week, so let's dive right into it. This is what you can expect over the next half hour. On today's show, we'll take you to the beautiful Wingate Farms, where you'll meet one of the sport's most successful and popular trainers, Irv Miller, and you'll find out why the Miller name will be around in harness racing for quite a while. Plus, trainer Jenny Melander joins PA Harness Week to give us the inside scoop on her racing stable. And we'll blast to the past and put a spotlight on one of the greatest standardbreds of all time. That's right, we're going to show you the Moni Maker. And how do racetrack announcers keep sharp during the shutdown? We'll show you one of the creative ways that one of them has found. These stories and much more on racing's fastest paced half hour, PA Harness Week.
Of course, the question on everyone's mind is, when will we begin racing again at Harrah's, Philadelphia, and at the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono? Unfortunately, right now, we don't have any news for you. However, as soon as we find out, we will be telling you right here on PA Harness Week. We are as anxious as everyone else to get back behind the gate.
And as Heather just said, we can't be at Harrah's, Philadelphia to film the show right now, so we took a trip out to Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. We're at the beautiful Wingate Farm where Irv Miller trains horses. We checked in with the top trainer to show you what he's been up to. Trainer Irv Miller, a man that spent plenty of time in the winner's circle in his life, wasn't raised going to the racetrack. Growing up in downstate Illinois, Miller was raised by Amish parents. The trainer spent much of his childhood around horses, but wasn't introduced to harness racing until his teenage years, when he attended a county fair.
That's the way my parents raised us, so we didn't know anything else. And then my dad liked horses. We started out with draft horses and stuff, and then he ended up into standardbreds, buying some, because they use those for buggy horses. He bought some brood mares and stuff, and that's how we kind of got started in the standardbred business.
With 3 decades of professional racing under his belt, Miller has built a career worth more than $87 million. His stable earned upwards of $5 million every year between 2005 and 2011. In 2005, Miller was dubbed the Glenn Garnsey Trainer of the Year by the U.S. Harness Writers Association. It was the same year he won the Delvin Miller Trainer of the Year award by the Grand Circuit.
I really loved the horses, and then it just took a lot of hard work, dedication, and I was blessed. God blessed me with what to do with horses, especially standardbred horses. I have a real knack for getting them broke and going the right direction without beating their attitudes up and stuff, and they really just seem like most of them prosper if I sit behind them every day.
And Irv isn't the only Miller who spends time at his impressive stables here in Northampton County. His son Marcus is making a name for himself as a top driver, and his daughter was twice awarded the title of the nation's best amateur driver.
Jacks 2 open for Hannah Miller, is charging hard and getting up to take the lead.
Definitely is a family affair here. It always has been, and we're fortunate that it is. I'm lucky that I get to show up to work and see my family every single day. Driving in the amateurs has been amazing. Brings so much joy. I love driving, and those 2 years were awesome. I was lucky enough to travel overseas and do some driving over there, but just driving is a blast, and the amateur clubs have been really good.
Irv's daughter Hannah says her medal-studded amateur driving career helps her better understand how to train their horses.
I do sit behind these horses every day, multiple times a day, and I know what they're like, and that helps a lot when you go on the track and you drive the horses.
And now, several months into the COVID-19 shutdown, the whole family is patiently awaiting the green light to get back to the track here in Pennsylvania.
This has definitely been a strange year for us and for everyone, but I'm just looking right now, I'm looking forward to get back racing, hopefully drive in some more amateur races, hopefully compete in some regular races as well. Right now, though, we're just wanting to get back racing as fast as we can.
Well, it is time now to take our first break, but when we come back, we're going to feature a 4-year-old pacer that many of you probably know, Warari U-Butte. And we've got exciting news about another Pennsylvania Sire Stakes top performer from last year. That's right, it's Treacherous Rain. That and more on the other side.
The heavy favorite Treacherous Rain is 1-5 for Dexter Dunn, now out on top.
history. It's written by winners. At Diamond Creek Farm, we're breeding champions and rewriting the history books. Diamond Creek Farm, a cut above.
The world is full of compromises, but not here. Not on this day, not in this race, not in this sport. Every bet is a hope. Return on investment comes in seconds. This is harness racing. We welcome you to the Harness Racing Fan Zone. See it all for yourself. Feel it in all the passion. Share that experience with others. The Harness Racing Fan Zone puts you in the driver's seat.
At Mohegan Sun Pocono, the colors shine a little brighter. The meals are just a little tastier, and the slots a little hotter. When you're here with great friends, the good times seem to last a little longer, and you just may feel a little luckier. Best of all, it's all a little closer, so you can shine on anytime you like. Shine on, Mohegan Sun Pocono.
Welcome back to PA Harness Week, racing's fastest pace half hour. This week coming to you from Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. But it's time now to head up to the Poconos, to the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono for our race of the week. Well, since we don't have any 2020 races to show you just yet, we took the opportunity to take a look at a Pennsylvania Sire Stakes event from last August. It features a superstar filly that also happens to be a little bit of a mouthful. That's right, we're talking about Warrari U-Butte.
Warrari U-Butte not going to sit around in the pocket, pulls here and comes up on Stonebridge Souls. They get to the quarter 26-2. So they tore up that opening panel, and Warrari U-Butte steps to the front for Yannick Gingras, the 6-5 favorite in front of Stonebridge Soul, returning for the first time since she picked up the Lynch here. Third on the inside, Odds on St. Lucie. Then comes Trillions Hanover, Abolita Hanover in line fifth, followed by Skater Chick, and at the back Pretty and Fast. And so Warrari U-Butte, nobody on her outside, moseys towards the half-mile marker, which she reaches in 55 even, 28-3, second panel. On to the back stretch now, Warrari U-Butte in control for Yannick Gingras, not asking a thing from her. Pocket seat, Stonebridge Soul just a length back. Odds on St. Lucie third as the pace speeds up predictably here. Trillions Hanover fourth for David Miller. She steps to the outside. Inside fifth, Abolita Hanover. Skater Chick also moves outside, and the trailer is Pretty and Fast. And still Warrari U-Butte with that one length advantage over Stonebridge Soul. 3/4, 123-3, 28-3 on the back. A soft third panel. Warrari U-Butte by a length. Stonebridge Soul lurking in the pocket from third. Now up comes Odds on St. Lucie. Trillions Hanover is 5 back and fourth. Top of the stretch. Warrari U-Butte going to try to outpace Stonebridge Soul here. Leads it by 1.25. Stonebridge Soul not gaining on Warrari U-Butte. Nice rate job from Yannick Gingras, and Warrari U-Butte salts this one away by 1.5 lengths.
In this Pennsylvania Sire Stakes event, a Warrari U-Butte crosses the finish line in 150 with driver Yannick Gingras in the bike for trainer Ron Burke. Now, I would like to also mention that this incredible filly went on in September last year to win the final for the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes at the Meadows.
Wow.
And she went on to be voted the #1 pacing filly in the entire United States for 2019. So it's really getting exciting because she's won, I believe, $1.6 million now.
Wow.
And she's 4 years old now. And she just won her qualifier to get ready for the 2020 season. So I don't know. I'm sure everybody else is also looking forward to seeing this fabulous filly in action right now.
I'm sure, and it's actually time to step back to 2019 again. This one from the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono. Keep your eye out for another top performer. It's the standout filly, Treacherous Rain.
Treacherous Rain opens her lead up to 2 over Beach Bar, forced to respond there for Tetrick. Third on the inside, Sweet Heaven has been saving ground. Sylph Hanover now steps out for Matt Kakali, but still 5.5 off the leader and having a hard time gaining. And now Sweet Heaven beats her to the punch, so Sylph Hanover will follow the cover. 3 3 more to Sweet Lucy Lou, then Renaissance Lady, Way Back, Pace Baby Pace. The lead still 2 for Treacherous Rain at 3/4, 122-3, 26-4 in the back stretch. Treacherous Rain by 2 on the outside. Coming up strong now is Sweet Heaven, and Beach Bar gets closer in the pocket. Top of the stretch, Treacherous Rain looking to hold together. Beach Bar on the inside is moving up closer here. Treacherous Rain put to the test. She will pass that test. It's Treacherous Rain fought off Beach Bar and wins it.
Treacherous Rain shows off in wire-to-wire fashion. She wins in 149-4 with Dexter Dunn driving for trainer Tony Alagna. Now, this is the cool story. Okay, so Treacherous Rain is coming back in 2020 to race as a 4-year-old. But during the whole time off for COVID-19, her connections decided to flush an embryo out of her, put it in a recipient mare, and then get the manhood, should we say, of a Bettor's Wish, who is a pacing champion.
Wow.
So now next spring, we're going to have a Treacherous Rain and Bettor's Wish baby being born. Meanwhile, those 2 superstars are still racing this season. So modern technology.
Wow, treacherous storm maybe. This sounds like a big deal.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we gotta start thinking of baby names.
Yes.
We are on that.
Maybe we'll put it out on Twitter. We'll be taking votes for what the embryo should be named. Now, this blast from the past features one of Heather's favorite horses, but she's not the only one who loves her. This horse was actually voted one of the best standardbreds of all time.
Yeah, so the United States Trotting Association did this greatest of all time challenge, you know, the GOAT, right, of harness racing. So what they did is they had 32 brackets with superstar standardbreds over time. All right, so of course they get voted down on Twitter to one horse, and it was the legendary Moni Maker, who we're going to find out more about her right now.
Moni Maker retired at the age of 7 in 2000, and when she hung up her harness, she had won 67 races on 28 different tracks in 7 different countries, at any distance against any contender. With over $5.5 million in the bank, she retired as the richest standardbred in harness racing history, and the richest female of any breed in the world. She was inducted into the Harness Racing Hall of Fame in 2006. Trained by Jimmy Takter, her victories included the Hambletonian Oaks, Breeders' Crown, Nat Ray, Prix d'Amérique, and the Elite Lop. And that's only a handful of huge stakes to her credit. I'm not the only one who absolutely adored her. In Italy, they called her the Sophia Loren of harness racing for her beauty and grace on the racetrack. The daughter of Speedy Crown, who took a career best of 152-1, was voted the Harness Horse of the Year in 1998 and 1999. Trotter of the Year from 1998 to 2000, and Trotting Mare of the Year from 1997 to 2000. It was back in 2000, as a matter of fact, when I traveled to Kentucky with the sole purpose to meet Moni Maker. And after I got done crying and freaking out from excitement, I took a deep breath and got my picture taken with her. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I have a feeling Moni Maker probably will never forget the crazy girl she met in Lexington who was hyperventilating. Hey, I'm just glad I made an impression on her.
I am so grateful that I got to be in her presence. I mean, she was absolutely everything, and as we know now, the greatest of all time.
And it sounds like she's secured the bag. She's been the Moni Maker for a lot of people.
That's right. She lived up to her name.
Wow. Well, it is time now to take another break, but when we come back, we will connect with announcer Mike Bozich about what he's been doing during COVID-19. Stay with us.
horse racing and breeding industries are vitally important to Pennsylvania. The Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania proudly represents breeders located in every corner of the Commonwealth. These farms preserve green space, they provide thousands of jobs and significant economic impact, and they're also home to the next generation of Standardbred champions. For more, please visit us online at standardbredbreederspa.org.
It's Mac Lobel, and he's pouring it on. It's Niatros by 4, and he's going away.
The Harness Racing Museum and Hall of Fame, a place where heroes come to life, preserving harness racing's treasured past while promoting its exciting future. And now get ready to harness your excitement with the thrill of harness racing's 3D simulator. The Harness Racing Museum and Hall of Fame, now offering free admission. Bigger, better, bolder than ever.
Welcome back to PA Harness Week. Let's get back to the track for some action. We'll head down to Harrah's, Philadelphia for our race of the week. For this one, we're going back to May of 2019 for the $100,000 Commodore Barry Invitational featuring a top field of male pacers.
53-1. Torrid tempo continues up the back stretch. Tiger Thompson, the wall, coming back for more on the outside. These two throw down once again. Rodeo Rock is perfectly positioned with cover third. Inside, Pacing Major getting shuffled as the wall clears the lead, nearing three-quarters. Outside, Courtly Choice continues to advance in the flow. Don't Tell Me Again is capped off cover at the present. Western Joe stuffed back into seventh, and nothing yet from Filibuster Hanover. Three-quarters, 120-2. The wall trying to spring an upset. Rodeo Rock moves up to the saddle pad. Courtly Choice right there and waiting third. Pacing Major got room. Stratton gears him to the inside. He's a bit rough on that turn, though, as they straighten on in. Inside, the wall clings to a narrow lead. Rodeo Rock's right alongside. Here's Courtly Choice storming down the center. Rodeo Rock in between. Courtly Choice with fresh legs. Courtly Choice, power sweep. Courtly Choice and the Commodore Barry.
Courtly Choice wins the Commodore Barry Invitational in 149-1, and he comes from off the pace. An amazing effort. Now, if winning the big event wasn't good enough, he actually becomes a millionaire with this victory. Wow. And we got to talk to the Happy Connections in Victory Lane from last season.
They were going pretty hard, you know, everybody from 6, 7, 8, all three left, you know, and I was able to get a seat and come with cover, and they took me right to the head of the stretch. So, I mean, the trip actually worked out real good for him, but he raced well. I was happy with him. You know, he didn't race very well at Flamborough there a couple weeks ago, but he seemed to bounce back today.
He's 4 years old now, and he was the youngest in the race. Tell me a little bit about that transition from a 3-year-old to a 4-year-old and competing against older horses.
You know, like, he's really come back great, you know, other than last week there in the mud. I just don't think he likes the mud. You know, he qualified unreal. He beat, you know, some really nice horses qualifying. And, you know, I had no worries about it today. I thought, you know, we were the best in there. Like, I don't want to sound cocky, but I thought he was the best in there, and you know, he proved it today.
So we heard from announcer Mike Bozich on the call on the Commodore Barry Invitational, but that race was from last year. So what have these announcers been up to during all of these COVID-19 shutdowns? I'm telling you, I miss hearing Mike's voice, and I am so certain that he misses calling races, because there's a clip he put on his Facebook page, and, well, let's just watch it.
They're off at racing. Goose Hanover moves out for the lead. There goes Windback Gosling in between rivals as the gander heads towards the woods. And a break in the back is Southwind Duck. There is Southwind Duck off stride in the back as they head towards the opening quarter.
Oh, was that great? Oh, was that great, right? Bruce Casella caught up with Mike Bozich to find out what he's been up to lately, I mean, other than calling goose races.
Our apartments that we live in have pretty much been invaded by geese. And of course, this time of year, they have the goslings, and they're very protective. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't charge me, to be honest with you. But I saw them as I was walking back. I saw them. They were crossing the street, and there was about 3 or 4 cars honking at them. And I figured, you know what? Why not? I mean, I just did it as a joke. So I hit the record button, and it just worked out perfectly. I mean, they started, the closer they got to me and the closer I got to them, they started running, and it worked out perfect, I guess.
Yeah, things are getting a little boring there for a track announcer.
Yeah, you know what? I've had people tell me that was actually my best call.
Oh, there you go. There you go. How do you stay sharp during the downtime?
Well, besides calling geese as they circle the pond, every once in a while, I'll turn on an old race, or you don't even have to be Harris, Philadelphia. It could just be any racetrack, and just kind of call the race. Not so much, to do it, but just to kind of keep that rhythm, because I think rhythm is a very important part of announcing and staying sharp and being able to recognize horses and so forth. And so every once in a while I'll do that, but really not too much. Other than that, basically eating a lot.
like we all are.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hey, but you gotta feel like it's getting closer and closer. I mean, I think we're going to be open soon.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, obviously safety first. Obviously, when we do come back, I think things are going to be a lot different, in the paddock and the social distancing and all that. But you know what? It's just, you see these racetracks open up around the country, and it's such a good feeling to know that, and I think this thing will be around with us for a while, but just to get back to some semblance of normalcy, I think is pretty cool.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Bruce and Mike. Isn't the internet a beautiful thing? And speaking of the internet, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Harness Week and on Twitter at PA Harness Week, and of course on YouTube, where you can rewatch all of our episodes and rewatch all of the action. It is time now for a trivia question, and it has something to do with David Miller, who we just saw a while ago in the winner's circle with Courtly Choice. Heather?
Courtly Choice and David Miller hooked up to win the Little Brown Jug together. So my question is how many times has David Miller won the Little Brown Jug?
Miller time! It is time now for one final break. When we come back, we will have that answer for your trivia question, and you'll meet another trainer. That's the Swedish-born Jenny Melander. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's going good. Just hoping that they open up the racing here soon. Horses are good. We're ready.
In the world of standardbred racing, only one name is synonymous with this kind of success, this kind of history, this kind of greatness, this kind of legacy, and this kind of unparalleled promise for tomorrow. Proud of our past, excited about our future. You know the name, that one name. Hanover, the greatest name in harness racing. The Harness Horse Youth Foundation, changing lives since 1976 by providing unforgettable experiences while educating young racing fans. The Harness Horse Youth Foundation, hands-on equine learning at camps across the country and driving exhibitions. The Harness Horse Youth Foundation, providing scholarships, leadership programs, career and college information. Support the Harness Horse Youth Foundation. Log on to hhyf.org and find us on Facebook. The Harness Horse Youth Foundation, growing our future with enthusiasm.
Welcome back. You are watching PA Harness Week. We are in the barn of Irv Miller in Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. And before our final break, Heather had a trivia question about the Little Brown Jug.
How many times has David Miller, Hall of Famer David Miller, won the Little Brown Jug? And the answer is 5. Okay, let me see if I can remember them. Courtly Choice, no pan intended, Big Bad John, Betting Line, and now I gotta look at my cheat sheet. Shadow play. All right. All right. So 5 times. Very, very impressive. I think he's only one of 3 drivers to be able to win the Little Brown Jug 3 times. All right. So now that happens in Delaware, Ohio, but we are here in beautiful Pennsylvania, and we caught up with trainer Jenny Melander right here at this amazing farm, and we talked to her about her Swedish roots, her love for harness racing, and her impressive education.
It's going good. Just hoping that they open up the racing here soon. Horses are good. We're ready.
Jenny, we know you're from Sweden, but tell me, how did you get into harness racing?
Well, everybody wants to come to America, right? So that was my ticket to come to America. But even so, riding horses don't bring any money, and there's not many jobs with them. So my cousins had racehorses, and I started going over there and just trying to learn more about the racehorses, and I got hooked right away. And when I was 13, I got my first summer job working in a harness racing.
Is the rumor true that your parents are allergic to horses?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I wore a mask, like the mask that everybody has now. That's how I grew up. That's how, because I was so allergic to horses. So until I was 14, every day in the barn, I had a mask just like that.
So when did you come to America?
So I came in 1998, and I was young. I'm not going to relieve my age, but no. I came 1998. I actually came to work at Huntington Farm first in Kentucky because I was in school back home to be a teacher, and at that stage I wasn't planning on staying in America. So I just wanted to come and have the experience, and no trainer could really tell us that early, in the wintertime, if they were going to have a job for me for 3 months in the summer.
So tell me about racing under saddle, because obviously you not only train horses, but you get on top of them too.
Yeah, the racing on the saddle is awesome, I think, in so many aspects. It's a great way to bring new people to the track. It's a great adrenaline kick if you do get to be a rider. There's so many pluses for it. Unfortunately, in America, it's just been a struggle to get it going.
Tell me a little bit about your education. Is it true that you went to Rider University? Is that right?
Yeah, I did. And then that big man, Irv Miller, he got me hooked up after that. So I graduated with a 4.0 out of Rider, and I started working for Irv 2 days later, and I was right back into harness racing.
No, that's awesome. That's a great story. What are you looking forward to in 2020 when we get back racing?
First of all, I would love to race. And then, I hope I have some good babies. I have just a very small stable. We have about 22 horses right now. Half is overnight horses and half are 2- and 3-year-olds. And I do feel like we might have some nice 2-year-olds if we ever get rolling again.
Thanks so much, Jenny, for being with us. And thanks to everybody here at Wingate Farm. I mean, what a gorgeous place. If we can't be at Harris, Philadelphia, I would love to be at a place like this every week until we can.
Yeah, as long as I'm around horses at a farm, I'm happy.
But we still want those gates to open up. And like we said, we'll bring you all of those updates on the show as soon as we have them. And one more time, I'm Britt Purdy. This is Heather Vitale, and we will see you next week on PA Harness Week.